it's Ellie. Welcome back to another Sims 4 apartment speed build. So, first of all, before I even start talking about the build, you probably noticed that I got a new microphone and I love it. The sound is so much better. I hope everyone else thinks so too. So yeah, I'm hoping that improves my videos in general. Okay, so now about the build. So the story of this build, I decided to start a game for The Sims just to play on my own. I was going to start it on the laptop instead of the gaming computer that I usually play on and record on. I use the laptop like in the evenings, so I just wanted a game to play on there for myself, just, you know, to explore city living really is what I made it for, because I have hardly done anything with city living gameplay wise since it came out. I've built a ton of apartments, but as far as actually playing in the city, I haven't really done any of that. So I made a sim with like the city living aspiration. I can't remember what it's called, something about locations. And then, yeah, I just made like a city sim and I started building an apartment for her, and I actually was really liking the way the apartment turned out. I started using a ton of the vintage glamour stuff from that pack, and then the more I got into it, the more stuff I used from that pack, and it just kind of became a vintage glamour apartment. In the original build, I hadn't put these walls up first, but as I used all the vintage glamour stuff, I decided to change the walls halfway through. And that was in my original build. I didn't record that one because it was just on the laptop, like I said. But since I loved how much the apartment turned out in the end, I decided to build it for a speed build. And it really didn't take long. It took me about 35 minutes to build total, which is very short for me. Usually my builds take about 2 hours at least, just because I put so much like clutter around and I work really hard on them, and they're usually big, so yeah, they end up taking usually my apartments are usually an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. They don't usually go longer than that. And then my house builds are anywhere from 2 hours to like 4, 5, 6 hours. Those ones take forever. It's partially from the roof, but yeah, anyway, so this apartment, yeah, like I said, it took me about 35 minutes, so I didn't end up speeding it up that much. If you might have noticed by now, it's like half as sped up as it usually is, so you are seeing all the little details of things that I do while my build, all the little movements and tiny adjustments that I do, you can really see in the video. But honestly, if I sped it up any more than that, it would just be way too short and you just really wouldn't get a video out of it and would be so quick, you know? So I just sped it up, I think, to like 4 times speed. Yeah, and I just left it at that. It came out to like just under 9 minutes. I figured that was perfect. That's usually what my speed builds are at anyway. The next thing about it being this slowly sped up is that I can actually see with almost perfect clarity what's going on in my build. Usually when I watch my videos as I'm narrating in my editing program, it's so fast that my editing program just skips frames instead of showing me all of them, because it's just like a preview window. So man, it really skips through a lot of things, and sometimes it's hard to actually see what's going on when I narrate. I just have a general idea, like if I see the room in the frames, then I know I started working on that room, even if I can't see exactly what I'm doing at the very second that it's happening. I know what I built in there because I built it, obviously. But yeah, so it's nice to actually see what's going on in my build. If you've noticed, this is just a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom. I remembered the bathroom this time. Oh my gosh. I've been forgetting them in almost every build, which is so weird, but I did remember it this time, so we're good. You got everything you need in this house, except I think I did forget a bin in the kitchen, so I'll have to put that in when I upload it eventually, because I'm recording this. Okay, so I'm recording this before my speed build for this week is going to be released, which I recorded last week, so that one is going to have the crappy mic. And by the time you see this, I will be recording this on Wednesday of last week. I usually upload the build to the sim gallery as soon as I upload it to YouTube, just in case people want to see the build on YouTube. Then they can see my speed build and use the apartment in their sim games, then they found it on the gallery or whatever. You know, I actually really like this wallpaper. I hardly use it because it's just so so obnoxious, to be honest. Like, the wallpapers in Vintage Glamour you can really only use with the Vintage Glamour stuff, I feel like, because the wallpapers are just so out there. They're just, I mean, that black and gold one, oh my goodness, how could you use that in any other kind of like styled apartment? I don't know, I couldn't imagine. Some of the other ones aren't so bad. Some of the other color swatches, like there's a blue and like a silvery one that I really like that is way less bold, so you can totally use it like as an accent wall or something like that. But I mean, this one with the paneling out in the living room area and the gray and white like wall, it's just so textury, it's just so much, but I really like using it. It looks good. It's just like, I just don't get a chance to use it, I guess, so much. So that's kind of a bummer, but if I built more apartments like this, then I would be able to use it more often, I suppose. One interesting thing about this apartment is that I actually built another Vintage Glamour styled apartment before in the biggest apartment that is available in The Sims 4, which is the 3-story apartment, and it turned out really well. It's actually one of my most popular builds, and this apartment is tiny. It's kind of like the opposite, and I don't know, I just thought that was cool. I built a huge Vintage Glamour apartment, now I'm building a very tiny one. Yeah, I don't know, I enjoyed building this apartment because I feel like I don't often get to use the Vintage Glamour stuff because it's so particular with the style that it has. Like, those mirrored end tables I hardly get to use because they're just so fancy looking that they don't fit a lot of my apartments, and the couch, and like I said already, the wallpaper especially, just the chairs, everything I don't often use. The chairs are one of the things I use probably more often because they're really nice. I actually love the Vintage Glamour chairs. But yeah, that's about the end of this speed build, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel because I post Sims videos every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye!